All right. Welcome everybody. We should be live, only a minute late. That is a record. I apologize to anybody who had tuned in yesterday. A little technical glitch having my guest. We had the audio from the green room, that was still going through while I was doing my little introduction. Luckily, my guest is a professional, and all he was doing was laughing, and no embarrassing bodily functions or otherwise. My first guest is properly muted right now, and I see the smile on his face. He's excited, as I am to have him on board. Without further ado, let's just get right into our guest. We've got two lined up tonight, so we got a lot to pack into our short 20 to 30 minutes. Maybe we go a little over if it gets good, which I don't doubt that it will. This is my first guest. I've known him since I was a very young lad. He's another Highlander from Highland, Indiana. He's from Cottage Grove Place, just like one block over. Let me bring up the audio here. Let's give a nice welcome to joining us from sunny Phoenix, Arizona, Mr. Larry Gorsuch. Hello, Larry guy.
Ron, keeping it real, man. Cottage Grove Place. Love it, brother. It's been a while, man. It's been a long time. It's good to hear from you. And, before we get going here, I'm a big fan of the show, obviously.
Thank you.
I just wondered if there's any contingency for, protocol before the show. You take your temperature on your forehead.
Thanks for reminding me there. I'm so sorry. I should do that immediately.
Please do, because that will add a little color to my point here.
Oh, it'll ensure the safety of my guest. 98.0, running a little cool tonight. Thank you, Larry.
Outstanding. So, my point was, I'm sure that you and your illustrious production staff have a contingency if you come out of the gate hot there. So,
yes.
What can you share with the co-video live audience, co-video TV live audience, what that contingency would be? I'm sure you have one.
There's a hierarchy here. It's kind of like the Vice President, Speaker of the House, Secretary of Transportation, or however it goes. I suppose the first one to jump on, who's been on twice already and maybe knows how to work the dials, would be my daughter. My oldest daughter, Cassie, would probably jump in. Number two would be my son. He would jump in. You've seen his hand and his face appear at the end of the broadcast last episode, unfortunately. But and then I think, I don't know, we might go dark. I am not sure. Maybe I could just switch the screens and put you could take over, if I went down suddenly, say. Hey, Larry, I always have to mention our first commenter, and of all people, last night's guest, Rick Carr, is in the house. Say hello, Larry.
Oh, hey, Rick, man. Glad you could join us. And I caught it. I didn't catch you guys live last night. I was actually on a co-video business call last night with our China factory, but I did catch it after I was done. So as I would have expected, just some great content there. And again, Ron, my second point before we get started here is, congratulations on the broadcast. I think you truly are carrying out a valuable service at Co-Video Live TV. So congratulations on that. I'm a big fan. And then finally, before we get going, is shout out on that big coup, man. It must have been a real challenge to get Brian Eno as a production consultant on that ambient sound on the intro video. So
who wrote that? I can't say. That's copyright free. Top of the Google search for green chroma key background, and I ran with it. We're going to bring it back. I've got a new mixer that just arrived, a switcher that just arrived today, and we're going to be bringing in some more graphics and bringing back the chroma key. So rest assured, the Eno floating Corona will probably be back. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That was a nice touch. And then finally, a shout out to Diane. I saw her post on social media. Her and I think all of us were kind of like really waiting for the virus to eat your head.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would have been a really nice touch too. So consider that for future broadcasts. Okay,
You've got a little bit of a Corona effect going there on the top. I'm getting a little shaggy. I'm not going to pass muster myself. Got to cut tomorrow. I'm in the schedule for one tomorrow. Hey, I have to mention.
No spring chicken. Yeah,
I have to mention the sunny skies of Phoenix. He looks lovely on the wide shot here. I did have to crop it down a little bit, and last minute we're missing his Diamondbacks togs that he's wearing, and a nice blue Phoenix sky. Partly cloudy, looks like. What are those, altocumulus up there, Larry? What's the current temperature in Phoenix?
yeah, it's pretty nice. It's a little bit below average. We've been getting a lot of rain here. It's probably around 64 degrees right now.
Right.
And yeah, it's quite pleasant. As typical for the desert, the Sonoran Desert, the springtime. There's not much wind, but we have had a considerable amount of rain. But I mean, listen, who's really complaining? It's nice.
Right.
It's very.
We hit up to about 60, 61, 2 degrees, and you know what that means around here in the spring, that tornadoes are a potential. So if we suddenly go off air, you'll know that was a loss of power. We do not have a B plan for our generator backup here. Right.
I did see that, and as you could imagine, I've been staying in really close contact with my parents. Thank goodness they're still kicking and doing very, very well at 82. So I'm staying in touch with them, pretty much imploring them, not to step foot out of the house. What a lot of us are doing with our parents in that state, and so I'm keeping tabs on the Highland weather, if you will. It's on my AccuWeather app. I have Phoenix and I have Highland. So
right.
Yeah, keeping tabs on it, hoping everybody's okay.
Yeah, everything seems to be going well here. What is the news out of Indiana this morning? Again, I really don't want to be a news source. People have thousands of places to get their news, but I guess what would affect us locally in this home in particular, and even our next guest coming up, would be Governor of Indiana Eric Holcomb's proclamation that school wouldn't be out until May 1st, now extending the out of school statewide, May 1st.
Yeah, I think Arizona. I was pretty proud of our governor, Doug Ducey. He took the lead on shutting down. I think Arizona was one of the first states to shut down public schools, and I thought that was a really good move. And the state of affairs in Arizona, Ron. Just a real quick executive summary, if you will.
Sure.
Probably typical of most states. A big chunk of this state is a red conservative state, and in the University of Arizona and the Tucson area is blue, but everybody's uniting together, and we're just we're taking the opportunity to make the best of things. So you see a lot of folks out there doing what they probably would be doing here in Arizona in springtime, where you're really capitalizing on the weather, taking hikes, a lot of families together. Due to the obvious, I just see I'm working virtually, so I see a lot of families outside my window every day, just taking nice leisurely strolls. So I think the crisis is bringing us all together in a better way, and I don't think there's much difference here in Arizona than there would be anywhere else. We're just trying to keep our sense of humor, which I think really at the end of the day is probably the most important thing that we can do.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're trying to propagate here. A little bit of laugh, not to diminish in any way the seriousness of what has been affecting the whole world and beginning to have an impact here in the U.S. People are dying from this, and we do have to take it seriously and do our part. But in a way, I feel my part is to try and ease the suffering of all of us who are. It's a captive audience. It came to me as a dream. It's a captive audience. Let's lock them in, Larry. I'm really happy that you're here to be a part of it.
Yeah, I am. I mean, again, my friend, I compliment you on your vision here, because I don't think you were thinking that this was going to be a short run here.
No,
I think you're in for the long haul here, brother.
Right.
I really do.
I've claimed a significant part of the home office here. Yeah, the green screen comes down to allow some printing. The kids are doing some printing for the school projects. They're scanning and emailing in assignments, taking pictures of art and all that. So it's a whole different situation. Hey, on a an interesting note or more enjoyable note, we are presently here. What are we at? Just after 8 o'clock. We're about 2 hours away from the start of spring, right? The vernal equinox at 10:29 in the Chicago area. The beginning of spring. Yeah, the first full day being tomorrow. So if you were wrong, if you were wishing people happy spring today, it's kicking in about 2 hours.
Hey Ron, is that the one where you can balance the egg on the countertop? I don't really. The spring equinox, is that the one where you can balance the egg? I don't know.
No, it's either the broomstick or it's a guarantee that I only take 2 as opposed to 3 wobbly steps in the morning when I wake up. That's about it. So, hey, what's been going on in Phoenix? What do you got? No baseball. That's something big. You're a big Cub fan, right? I don't know why I let you
I'm a
on.
big I know I'm a big Cubs fan. So no, I think they're saying now the middle of May is the best case scenario for Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the big news, again, I am a true Chicago. Listen, man, I'm a Chicagoan that lives in the Phoenix area and loves living here. Best move my wife and I ever made 10 years ago, but I miss the hell out of Chicago and Northwest Indiana. But Chicago sports first. But some local Arizona news. We just nabbed DeAndre Hopkins from the Houston Texans. So now we have our young stud quarterback Kyler Murray to go along with DeAndre Hopkins and Larry Fitzgerald, who I'm convinced will never retire. And in my mind, I don't mind because Larry is all good things. Arizona. He's just a great individual, world traveler, all around great guy. Mm-hmm. So a lot of developments, hot stove, if you will, to follow while there's not any actual sports going on.
Yep.
I think, hopefully like our consumer demand getting pent up, and we're going to break through from this better. I think a lot of us sports fans are kind of pent up with a lot of excitement for when we actually do get playing again. So yeah, little sports flavor there for you.
That's right. Is that audio on your side? You got a kid in the yard or somebody close by? Or what am I hearing?
Yeah, we my wife and I, my lovely wife Mitra and I, love our neighborhood. We are sandwiched in between a couple families with young kids, and,
nice.
and the kids, and the young kids being away from school. There's some pent up energy there as well.
All right.
So yeah, that's what you're getting. I hope it's not too disturbing, but
no, not one bit. Not one bit. No.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a little more of the local flavor of what's going on in the neighborhood.
Hey, earlier you mentioned some of your calling into conferences or dealings with China. I don't know if you want to touch on that, or after 5 o'clock work is over for you, or what?
No, for sure, Ron. I'm a director of global logistics for a company that has 2 large factories in China, mm-hmm. and there's a lot of irony. What's going on is, I think they declared 0 new cases in the most affected Chinese province today. And so the irony basically is about 4 weeks ago, I was planning a big logistical maneuver sending sanitizer and masks to our factories in China because, unfortunately, there's an element of corruption still in China. They were really uppricing the market on masks and hand sanitizer. So, here we are about 4 weeks later, and we're asking our Chinese factories to start sourcing masks and hand sanitizer for us. So it's a real twist of fate, and there's a real reality going on here. And I was also part of a webcast where we had a very respected chief economist on, and some of the scientists affiliated with that chief economist, and they are predicting a global recession. I don't think that's much of a surprise to anybody, but they're predicting a GDP of -1% for 2020. Don't want to go too much into the weeds on economics here, but mm-hmm. as long as the GDP is consumer spending is a 70% component of the GDP, we have an insatiable appetite for Chinese imports, and the irony is again we were waiting for the factories to start shipping 3 weeks ago, and now they're shipping, and now we have no demand here. So it's going to be quite interesting, Ron, to see what the lay of the land is here in terms of the economy and what we're going to do with all these goods and nowhere to deliver them in the next 8 weeks. I'm going to be a very, very busy guy in my job, but that's what I signed up for. But just a little flavor on
I appreciate that.
we can really expect to see here coming down the road. We have not seen the worst of things yet. So.
Unexpected international flavor from Larry Guy. I thought we talked drums a little. I thought we talked Cubs. I didn't realize it was going to go east. That far east.
Ron, Ron, I can in a second here grab my Latin percussion conga set here, and I won't. We'll do that for maybe a month down the road. I can bring congas out. We can do something.
A little celebratory something. Yes.
Don't play anymore, but the skills and the chops are still sharp. I would never let the chops go. So just a little heads up there. The chops will always be there, like riding a bike. So.
All right. Hey, I have to ask each of my guests. Well, I guess you're behind me in time. So, what's on in the oven or on the auto dial or speed dial for dinner tonight? What you got going on?
Well, funny you should ask. I know Mr. Carr went down the pizza road yesterday. He
listened.
He dialed up. He dialed up a much better option than I did tonight, but. I will say that the best frozen pizza that money can buy is a Home Run Inn pizza, and they do have Home Run pizza here exclusively in the Phoenix market because Phoenix, Arizona is Chicago's largest suburb. So Mitra and I told Mitra, we're not eating anything until I finish the broadcast here tonight.
All right.
But we're gonna put in a sausage Home Run Inn pizza tonight.
Excellent. And I must ask, are you properly stocked with the toilet paper? Any difficulty getting your double ply or whatever it is that you're looking for? Any troubles in Phoenix?
No, we are. We were able to. We go to Costco maybe 4 times a year. We're not huge Costco advocates, but when we do go, and this was, the landscape has changed so quickly. I mean, March 1st. We had no idea that on, March 19th, we'd be looking at what we're looking at now. But we bought our usual stock of toilet paper, before any of this was going down. So, yes, Ron, we're good.
All right.
And we think we're going to be okay.
All right. I don't want to keep you from your home run in. Is the oven preheating at least, or no? Is that entirely dependent, conditional?
No, I think Mitra maybe is into her second Grey Goose and soda, and so we're going to have to preheat that oven here when I'm wrapping up here. So.
Okay, well, I think we've hit full temperature now, if not gone a little bit over. But all right, we will wrap it up here. We're going to say goodbye to Larry, and we are going to roll up the logo real quick while I raise up our next guest on the telly. Larry, it has been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Can I ask if we might be able to ring you up again in the future?
Please do, Ron. Ron, thanks for having me, man. Again, big fan of the show.
All right, man. Good night, Phoenix. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ron. Good night, folks.
All right. With that, I'm going to roll the logo up here, hang up on Larry Guy, and get another guest on the show. We'll be right back in a second. And we are back. We've got our second guest of the evening queued up in the green room here. I thought we would introduce a little bit of a different angle. I wanted to try and present or attack this whole COVID issue from a variety of different angles. What I thought was maybe, I'm sure there are a lot of our viewers out there who are experiencing some of the feelings that our next guest is experiencing as the mother of 4 young children, trying to keep peace in a house in the midst of school that's now out until May 1st. We'll talk about that in a second. This is a parent of a classmate of my son, a fellow St. Michael's School parent. That's why I'm wearing the SMS shirt today. Let's bring on Renee Scarce from Cherville, Indiana. Let me get the audio up there. Hello, Renee. How you doing tonight?
Hey, Ron. How's it going?
Going well, going well. Did you see the earlier show? Did Larry Gorsuch? Did you get a chance to see him? Very entertaining man.Maybe you can watch it later if you didn't.
I didn't know. Yeah, I was watching it. I was pretty jealous. I'd like to be in Arizona myself right now.
Exactly. He did say it was getting kind of cool, 60-some degrees, and that was about what we hit today, 60-some degrees. So you obviously, we talked a little bit about this earlier. You did hear the news from our governor that school is going to be out for until May 1st, right?
Yeah. Kids were real disappointed. I thought they'd be excited. Skylar started crying. She did not really like the idea of not seeing her friends. She's already going through withdrawals. Julian doesn't care so much. He just wants to get out of the house. So he was not happy with that news.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I've got a schedule down pat, so I think I'm okay with it.
Well, right. Yeah, I've been on the Facebook and watching a lot of complaints about parents becoming teachers, right? I'm sure you've been doing that. You've got how many different levels? You've got 3 that are in school, right?
Yeah, so I have added a preschool teacher, middle school math, science, religion to my current jobs as, Uber driver, chef, housekeeper.
Right. When you're not doing the school, the e-homework or the e-learning, what do you guys? I mean, you try to set a schedule. Luckily, I've been getting out of the house for a little bit, and we have 2 older kids who are able to kind of take care of themselves. But what have you done outside of schoolwork to try and keep everybody interested? Some of the ideas that you've got, maybe you could share.
So our first 2 days, I thought we would just wing it, and that was a really bad idea. There's a lot of tears on both ends, theirs and mine. There was a lot of screaming. But yesterday and today, I actually printed out a schedule from the moment that they woke up until dinner time.
Right.
So it's like, wake up, make your bed, you have breakfast, and then do Skylar, or my older 2 are really liking the preschool aspect because it breaks it up for them. So we start off with my little one's preschool routine, which is reading books and singing songs. So they think that that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then go into their schoolwork, take a snack, have lunch, back to schoolwork. And then I've tried to incorporate like art and music that Mo Willems, he writes the Penguin books.
Yep, my wife is a big fan. She's watching.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
He has some the lunch doodles with him where he teaches you how to draw his characters. That's been hilarious to see how everyone in the house draws the characters a little differently. That's probably what they look forward to most. We did some gym today. They were not happy with that. I made them do wall sits and push-ups. But, my older 2, they play sports year round. So this is the longest that, especially Julian, has gone without some sort of sport, game, practice, lesson, something. And he is bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you and other parents of boys who are involved in organized athletics this time. Yeah, there's nothing going on. There's nothing. And the weather around here hasn't been great. Luckily, it's beginning to get warm, but now we got a bunch of rain recently for those who are watching.
Right. So I think Monday was the day it was kind of warm. Either Monday or Tuesday, it was a little nice out. I let them ride their bikes, which I got a lot of kind of nasty messages about letting them out to ride their bikes. But I assured everyone, they're not touching anything. I didn't let them go on playground equipment or anything like that. But, they've got to get some sunshine, some fresh air, a little exercise activity. So that's what they're doing tomorrow. It's supposed to be nice. So I told them maybe we'd hit the bike trail. They've got to burn off energy.
If you run into anybody out there, stay your six feet away, right?
Yeah, I told them we'd take a little yardstick and keep them off.
Right. Well, at least you got them stuck in one place. I assume now they're watching. You got them for 15 minutes or a half hour or so sitting in one place watching co-video live TV.
I stuck him upstairs with their dad. He doesn't know what it's like to have them all at one time by himself.
Oh, so if it was up to you, the show would go on for another hour and a half, right?
Yeah, you said, can we have 10, 15 minutes? I was like, an hour or two would be good.
That would
Maybe
be
I'll
right.
tell him we'll be on for an hour or two.
No. Have you been, what's it like shopping, getting out and shopping for a family of four? I mean, are you finding anything in short supply that you would normally use, or how's it going there?
So last Friday, like right about the time that this all kind of kicked off,
Yeah.
I went to Costco. I go to Costco every 2 weeks anyway. I have 6 people here, so Costco is like my Strax. It's where I buy all my groceries. So I went not really thinking that was the day that everybody was gonna pile up on their groceries. And I got there at 9 o'clock in the morning because I dropped the kids off at school and I go there. I like to sit in the parking lot, read my book until it opens.
Mm-hmm.
But the line was already out the door at 9 o'clock. So that was crazy. And I didn't need the stuff that they were in there fighting for. So I was glad that I already had my toilet paper. I already had my paper towels. But what I noticed, they didn't have any meat, like ground beef, fresh chicken. All of that was sold out on Friday. So I got some frozen meat. And I kind of hoard food anyway. I buy in bulk all the time. So now Matt did not like that before. Now he's very appreciative that I had that habit.
So have you been back there too? Have you been back? I mean, how often do you expect
No. Matt still goes to work every day, and he works right next door to a Jewel in Illinois. So anything that we need fresh, he'll just kind of run in and grab that real quick and run out. Right. So I think the only thing that we haven't been able to like really get is hand sanitizer, but you know, I have a 13-year-old girl who's obsessed with Bath and Body Works, so she had a big collection in her bedroom, so that works for us.
Or hand soaps, yeah, soaps from Bath and Body Works when they're selling them for 10 for $1 or whatever it is, right? Yeah, we got a closet full of those too.
I have a closet full of the soaps. Yeah, I just didn't have the hand sanitizer, so I'm glad that she had a stash.
How about food? Keeping 4, 5 people, 6 if you include yourself, happy with the variety of dinners and all? You coming up with new recipes? Are you implementing the Instapot you never used, or air fryer they had since Christmas, or what?
Yeah, so that has probably been the most difficult thing. This could not have come at a worse time for Matt and I, because we decided like beginning of March that we were going to start a keto diet. So far we stuck to it. We have not cheated, but we also gave up fast food and pop for Lent. So we have to cook.
Mm-hmm.
And so like tonight I made spaghetti, which is their favorite. They'll eat it for dinner tonight, breakfast tomorrow probably. Nice. And then I made we had the zucchini noodles for Matt and I. So we're still going strong. I don't know. Ask me middle of next week and it'll probably be different.
Well, I hope that we can reconnect and get you back on the shows. God willing that the show is still going on. It looks like it is going to be a long haul here. So if you are available, we'd love to have you back on.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming. Appreciate you coming on. We're getting close to 8:30, and we really want to try and keep it down to about a half hour. That's what my agent told me, or my creative consultant. So I appreciate you coming on, Renee. Thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully we'll be seeing you, would it be before May 1st? Are we holding out hope that school gets back in session before May 1st? Or what's your gut telling you?
Well, I'm just hoping that they get to finish the school year at school. So I bet we will be out. I think we'll be out till May 1st because now that they put it out there, I'm sure they can't really take it back.
Yeah.
So I hope we get to go back at all.
Yeah, I miss communicating with all the families and seeing the kids. It's interesting to see in the emails that we're all getting from our teachers that they say, I think they're being honest, that they say they miss our children. And this is, 4 days in?
I bet they do. And, I don't think I really have a new respect for our teachers because they have to come up with this crazy lesson plan that can be done at home. They're taking emails. Miss Evans, the math teacher, spent an hour on the phone with Skylar yesterday trying to talk her through a lesson that she just could not get. And then they have their own kids, a lot of them at home that they have to do their work for. So, God bless our teachers because it's rough.
It is, and I hope to have a teacher on. I went to my number one candidate, my wife, who teaches kindergarten, and she already said no. You'd be surprised how many people are afraid to come on to in front of a camera or whatever. But I appreciate you doing that. We will be getting a teacher on, and I will pass on your thanks if they haven't already seen this video here. So, with that, I'm gonna let you loose. Thank you again. We have your address to send your complimentary roll of toilet paper that we send to all of our guests that are on. It's good 2-ply stuff. Thank you, Renee, for coming on. I'm going to roll you off here. Again, hopefully we can get back on the Co-Video Live TV again. Appreciate you contributing. Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
All right. And with that, we're going to pull the plug on the show. I think I can get the timing of this straight today. Starting to heat up a little bit here. Let me just make sure. No. Yeah, 99 degrees. It is a little warm in this room. Okay, so with that, we're going to end it. We will be back again with episode 5. 5? Yeah, that was 4 we did today. Wow. Episode 5 coming at you tomorrow, 8 o'clock Central Time, Central Daylight Time. We'll see you tomorrow, first full day of spring. Thanks for joining us.